welcome to Fraggle Talk Classic, the unofficial Fraggle Rock podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. My name is Beth, and I am rewatching for the millionth time.
My name is Julia, and I'm rewatching for the first time in 10 years.
My name is Adam, and I'm gonna drink some grass clippings flavored tea because I am matching this for the first time ever.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks matcha tastes like grass clippings.
Look, if you like grass clippings, good for you.
Right.
I love that for you. Chase your bliss. I just don't want any.
And today we are talking about episode 22 of season 3, Gunge the Great and Glorious, which originally aired on May 27th, 1985, written by Laura Phillips and directed by Eric Till.
And this is the finale?
Of season 3, yes.
Yeah, of season 3. The season finale, though.
Yes.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
There's barely any Fraggles in it.
I kind of appreciate that, honestly.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
I think also back then, especially for children's shows, when there's less of a, overall season arc, I think there was a lot less emphasis on a season finale. It was just like, this is the last episode of the season.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I feel like if this was a more modern show where story arcs for children's show was being taken into account, like the last episode we watched where it was a lot of coming together of the Gorgs and the Fraggles, that would probably be the final episode of the season where we start seeing a little bit more shift between those relationships. Whereas, I guess there is a relationship between Philo and Gunge and the Doozers, but this is also a thing that is just being introduced to us before the end of a season.
Yeah.
But you are right that, like, as this is airing, it's a kid's show. They're not really thinking about the flow of the story arc for just the season.
Right.
It's just interesting.
Turns out the third season was also supposed to have 24 episodes, but the last 2 that were produced for the season ended up being held over until the 4th season. So Side Bottom Blues and Wembley's Wonderful Whoopee Water are going to be the beginning of season 4, but they were originally produced as the end of season 3.
There's a lot of ways you could take Wembley's Wonderful Whoopee Water.
Don't.
Jesus.
Wasn't going to go any farther down that path, but I did want to point at the sign.
Get your jokes out now, so when we get to the actual episode...
I'll try. There's probably going to be like a 3-minute collective snippet of just all the things we had to cut from that episode.
Fair enough.
Sometimes you need a mop for all the whoopee. Anyways, I really like the point this episode made.
Which is?
Oh, the isolation inherent in pursuing power and how that's not going to fulfill the actual need that we have as people.
Heck yeah. We start with Sprocket being quote-unquote picky about his dog food.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking from experience, dogs can definitely be very picky about their food. I work with, here's the thing. Some dogs will eat anything that you put in front of them. Napkins covered in grease. Other dogs poop. Some dogs are very gross or just not picky at all. And some dogs are incredibly picky. And I watch one dog where his dinner is literal chicken and rice. Like they make chicken at the start of every week and he gets that with some rice. And they also now put some little shredded cheese on top of it. And, that's what he eats. And he doesn't eat any treats I try to give him. He only wants that. So it's... And then there's other dogs where you try to give them a brand of kibble or a brand of wet food and they don't like it. Then it's a lot of trial and error to figure out what they'll eat. So obviously Sprocket can read and he's like, no, I need to try this particular brand that I have read about because it seems so fancy. And that's an exaggeration. But there are some dogs that are picky eaters. That spoke true to me to some level.
He can also, canonically now count to 4 because he hands Doc the magazine and Doc's like, oh, you want me to read this magazine? And he barks 4 times and Doc is like, oh, page 4, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The ad reads, "Doesn't your dog deserve the very best? We think so. That's why we've created Rover's Royal Repast, a dog food fit for a canine king."
There's so much alliteration in all of these dog brand titles, and also later the stores that Doc is calling.
Mm-hmm.
Like the food he originally feeds Sprocket is it's choice chuck and chunk of cheese,
Yeah.
something like that. And then Rover's Royal Repast. And credit to Doc. He's like, well, you are a canine king, so I am gonna make this happen for you. Whereas season 1 Doc probably would have been like, Sprocket, I'm not gonna do this, and then wouldn't feed his dog.
He does say, well, it is expensive. It's 1 can for what we would normally get a week's worth of food for.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're sure that's what you want, we can do it.
Mm-hmm.
So then we cut to the Fraggles, and we get Wembley doing his little Wembley sounds.
Mm-hmm.
He also ducks under and, pushes through some hanging vines and then apologizes to them.
Yeah.
I just love that he is the absolute epitome of just a little guy.
He really is. Philo and Gunge can't decide which direction they're going, but they're now in the Fraggle Caves for not the first time, because we've seen them seek out the Fraggles before, but they're very rarely in the caves.
Yeah. And they're here to get Mageki vines because they want to make bracelets and necklaces for Marjorie.
Yeah.
But they don't know where they're going.
Yeah, and they ask Wembley for directions, which we know. Wembley is maybe the worst Fraggle to ask for directions because he's so indecisive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Philo says, he looks like he knows what's what.
Nope.
And we get this great bit. Red showing up and be like, Wembley, we've been waiting for you for forever. Come on. And Wembley's like, well, I was trying to help them. And Red, drags him away. And he keeps running back to try to help them. And Red keeps popping up and just, dragging him away.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get a cut that I was not expecting. We get to the Doozers.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking about history. And we get some awesome Doozer lore.
Yeah.
They had a king.
So Architect Doozer is basically leading a field trip of the younger Doozers. So we've got Cotterpin and Wrench, and he's telling them about a unique chapter in Doozer history, a time when Doozers had a king. He says the Doozers did not spend all their time building. Having a king meant there were many festivals to be celebrated, and the festivals required endless singing and dancing. It was not a happy time. I was like, okay. Fascinating.
And Cotterpin pushes back. She says, well, the Fraggles spend their time singing and dancing, and they seem pretty happy to me. Or she says specifically, they seem pretty happy if you ask me. And he's like, I didn't ask you, actually. And she just apologizes. She's like, you're right. I'm sorry. It's your presentation. I'm sorry. And it feels about half genuine, which is progress for her.
Yes.
See, my notes say, not this time, girl. You just pointed out an obvious thing and stated your opinion about it based on lived experience. No apology necessary.
I mean, the read was that, she apologized for interrupting in the middle of a presentation.
Oh. But see, for me, when he says, that's why I'm not asking you, Cotterpin, means that he knows that she's going to have a contrary opinion, and he doesn't want to hear it?
I mean, I was reading that more as I'm not asking you. I'm in the middle of presenting this thing for all the kids. I'm trying to read the PowerPoint. Don't interrupt, please.
Fair. I just feel like it's an important distinction because he's arguing, he says, now we Doozers have a better way of life, a life devoted to building, but it is important to learn about this frivolous chapter in our history. And I'm like, okay, those are big claims. That if you're saying that singing and dancing is frivolous and building is good, she needs to be able to offer counterpoints to that.
I mean, from our point of view, yes. I don't know. I think we're both right here.
Oh, yeah.
I think that, he is getting hinky at her for interrupting, but also the points that she's making when she interrupts are good.
Yes.
And I think that might be why her apology comes off as about half an apology, because she's like, well, I'm sorry I am interrupting, but I'm not sorry for saying things because I do think you're wrong.
Yeah. And it's interesting to me that, so basically at this point, Gunge turns the corner, shows up, and all the Doozers gasp and see that Gunge looks identical to the painting of their king, and Cotterpin immediately bows and calls him your majesty.
Well, yeah, she wants to get back to the frivolity.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the thing that struck me also. And I literally, like, 2 minutes had the realization, because in my notes, I'm just like, dang, Cotterpin really wants a monarchy. What the heck is going on with this character? And then I just had the realization of, oh, she wants to, because we've seen her interact with the Fraggles,
Mhm.
and while she has been, like, judgy of the Fraggles at times, I think that there's a lot about their society that she admires. And suddenly, with there being a king lookalike, she's like, oh, this thing that I pointed out, like, now I have an excuse that we can actually try out this way that the architect is saying that we did, but like is no longer a part of our lifestyle.
Mhm.
So I think that's why she immediately was like, king material. King, let's do this all over again. But yeah, she's so down on being like, hey, let's have a king. And I'm just like, oh, Cotterpin, you don't want a king.
That makes so much sense.
But yeah, I think that's her motivation.
Yeah. So Gunge basically becomes the king, and he's like, he like leaves and goes back, and he's like, I'm the king. That's crazy. That's wild. And Philo has some complicated feelings about this.
Hmm. Yeah, they do the, am not R2 thing for a minute, and then Gunge is basically like, oh, I get it. You're jealous that the Doozers want me and not you. And Philo's like, oh, what makes you so special? I'm like, okay, so there could be some jealousy in this, but that's probably also not the whole picture.
This episode reads as just big sibling energy of just egging each other on to the point where maybe it's not true, but then it just, I don't know, they just like push each other away with their feelings and not communicating with one another.
I mean, the vibe I was getting was definitely some insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he has that specific line. He says, there are more important things in life than being king. Gunge says, oh, yeah, like what? And Philo says, like us being pals.
Yeah.
He's scared he's going to lose his friend.
Yeah. That, to me, is why Philo and Gunge have more, like, Frog and Toad energy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I ship it.
Yeah.
I full ship it.
This is when we get our first song from Gunge, which
Oh, yes.
fine.
it's about him being a star.
Yeah, the song is called I'm Gonna Be a Star.
I didn't have much to say about this one.
I mean, I like how much Richard Hunt gets to sing in this episode is my
Definitely.
one note on all of the songs. Because, Richard pops up in more episodes than, oh, well, no, he's Junior. He's like in so many episodes, never mind. But I guess Junior's not in every single episode. It's nice to see him, I don't know, just be, I guess, so heavily part of an episode outside of just being Junior Gorg.
Yeah.
And he's a great singer. And the Ink Spots are in this song. They came back
Yeah.
already.
And a little creature called a snail with little half-moon spectacles.
Is that the sheep-frog-snail with, the glasses? It's purple.
Sheep-frog-snail with glasses, yeah.
Oh, is that the one that he winds up bumping into later?
Yes.
Okay, I missed him in that song. I caught him getting bumped later, and I was like, who is that?
Well, later Philo bites its tail.
Yeah.
We'll get to it, but Philo gets bitey later.
Yeah, I do have that in my notes that, the ink spots are back.
Mhm.
Yay, ink spots.
And so after that, we go to the Doc and Sprocket one, and it's pretty simple. He's just calling a bunch of different stores, and none of them have the fancy food because apparently it's too expensive.
Yep.
Yeah, this is when it's revealed that it's going to be $6.95 per can, and that's how much they spend on Sprocket's food per week. And I was like, dang, the economy.
So, okay, adjusted for Canadian inflation since 1985, that would be $18.67 Canadian today, which is $13.59 in the US.
Holy mackerel.
Wow.
For a can of dog food.
Okay, that is a lot.
How much does a can of wet dog food cost?
Couple bucks.
Nowadays, yeah, probably. Not that I'm buying, because dogs usually come with their own food if I'm watching them. I would assume somewhere between I feel like $5 for a can of dog food would be, I guess, very fancy dog food like this, but that would still be $5
right
in our economy, where the dollar is at now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sprocket's got some rich tastes. He wants this one dog food.
Sprocket wants to sample the delight of the bourgeoisie.
Mm-hmm. He wants to be pampered.
Which, that's fair. Who doesn't?
Right? Oh, God, it's so frustrating sometimes. Most of the time you can figure out, the generic you try it and are able to figure out, oh, yeah, this is exactly the same stuff as the Nape brand. They make it in the same factory and just put 2 different labels on it. But sometimes the fancy stuff really is better.
Mm-hmm. Chocolate comes to mind.
Mm.
So Gunge's king, and he says everybody's going to party. And there's this great line where Cutterpin's like, but nobody remembers how.
Yeah.
And then we get our second song. And this I love.
Yes, Gunge is going to show them how to party.
Yeah. Some good old-fashioned doo-wop. This made me so happy.
Mm-hmm.
And the Doozers are all singing. We got multi-part harmonies. Oh, it's great.
It's so good. The song is called Gonna Party! ! Parentheses, Saturday night.
Close parentheses. And it's a good time. It's a great song.
Yeah. One little note. So I love all these Doozers slowly joining in and dancing and singing along. And we even get Yeaster Doozer from the old the Cavern of Lost Dreams.
Yeah, a few back.
Yeah, she's one of the trio backup singers in little matching hats.
Oh, I love that. I hadn't clocked that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I missed her in this song, but she does have some lines later in the episode.
Yes. And I just appreciate the line, daytime, do some stuff.
Accurate.
Sometimes that is what the day feels like. You wake up and you're looking around like, I guess I need to do some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's how it goes.
Yep.
So then we get to see Philo processing his feelings with Marjorie, and he's having some pretty complicated feelings.
Yeah.
And Marjorie has this great bit where she's like, well, it sounds like Gunge is experiencing an identity crisis. And Philo's like, what the heck is that? She says, identity crisis is when someone doesn't know what he wants to be, but whatever it isn't what he is, which is the worst way you could say that pronoun-wise.
I wrote that this sounds very Dear Abby, which at the time was huge. This was the days of like Dear Abby and Ann Landers and like even Dr. Ruth, like advice columnists were a huge thing.
I was always more of a fan of Carolyn Hacks.
I don't know who that one is.
Oh, she's great. She's like a slightly more Gen X millennial Dear Abby and is like just sort of gentler and a little bit deeper with more like, development and intention.
Heck yeah.
I still read her stuff sometimes. Dear Abby, my best friend who I may or may not have a crush on, who is also a rat, has been crowned the king of a kingdom of hardworking insects. I, who am also a rat, have complicated feelings about this.
Yeah.
Please cover yourself in trash and answer my questions.
I just looked it up on Muppet Wiki because when we saw Marjorie, I was like, dang, we really haven't seen Marjorie in what feels like a second.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at all of her appearances in this show, she was in season 1 for 13 different episodes. Whereas then in season 2, she was only in 3 episodes. And this season, I thought it was less, but she apparently was in, we did see her in 4 episodes, but this is episode that, the final episode, and we haven't seen her since Scared Silly, which I don't know the exact order we've watched them in because I know some stuff has jumped around, but that was episode 13.
Yeah.
So it's been almost 10 episodes since we've seen her. So it is interesting. It feels like, it doesn't even feel like there was so much more of a presence of Marjorie in the start of this show, and now she really is more of a character that pops up only a couple times each season.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't realize how much less she appeared in seasons 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it looks like that's pretty much the same for seasons 4 and 5. Yeah, we're only gonna see her twice in season 4, and then we will see her 5 times in season 5.
Okay.
Spoilers.
That makes sense.
That's good. And considering that those are both half seasons, I'm glad to see more of Marjorie in season 5.
That's a good point. So she's going to be in close to half of the episodes in the final season then.
Heck yeah.
Sweet.
But then, we cut back to Gunge.
And he's bored.
Mm-hmm.
He's so bored. And they're doing some crazy stuff. There's been a big party.
Yeah. Maybe that's why it had to be constant singing and dancing. Can't let the king be bored for even a minute. Which, yeah, that does sound like... That sounds like an exhausting way of life, frankly.
I have several deeply treasured memories that are just me and a little group of friends hanging out, playing cards as an excuse to being around each other.
Yeah.
And it's the same game for like a couple of hours, and we're having an amazing time. And the budget is like cardboard and ink.
Yeah.
And it really is not about what you're doing, it's about who you're doing it with. And I feel like this illustrates that point really well.
Yeah. Well, when he first becomes king, they ask him, what do you usually do? And he says, oh, I play games with Philo, and I tell jokes with Philo, and I play tricks with Philo, and sometimes Philo plays tricks on me. And it's clear that that's, why he has not been bored, because he had someone to match his energy. And now he's put in this weird place of, yes, power, but also with all of these, creatures he doesn't really know. And there's just a disconnect. And I don't know, like, I don't think that this episode it is speaking, I think, more to that relationship, but also, like, I think what we collectively know is, like, people want these places of power, but actually when you get it, they're not actually, it's not that great to be in charge.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Elon Musk. The man is miserable. Actively miserable.
Look at Donald Trump is miserable anyway.
They're not happy.
No.
And I do think that is one of the really cool things, like one of the really potent points that this show is making is like, yeah, you can have all the budget in the world, but it's all superficial. You can hire someone to make you the best, most amazing meal. And if you don't have someone who actually knows you, who you actually know that you care about and are cared about by, it's just going to be a really pleasant sensation that's going to be transient and then be over.
And the more power you get, the more scrabbling to hang on to that power, it becomes a full-time job. And that also sounds miserable.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it changes the way you think.
Mm.
And I do think that maybe could have been explored a little bit more in this one. But just the fact that this is a thing that they're touching on at all is so very well done.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think, like, what Elon Musk thinks he wants is for everyone to think he's cool and pay attention to him. But what he actually wants are for some people to hang out with. Like, just to hang out with.
Yeah.
But that's a vulnerable thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's vulnerability that we see Philo and Gunge wrestle with in this episode.
So the Doozers bring in... in fact, Yeaster Doozer is here, bringing in a Fraggle artifact, which is just a traveling Matt postcard.
How artifact can it be? We know when Matt left to go to outer space.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the last, but we're going real time, couple of years, so it's not a very old artifact. But also, this might be does this postcard have anything to do with this episode? This feels like the most disconnect between a Matt postcard and the main plotline of an episode.
Right?
It's just whitewater rafting.
Mm-hmm.
And I did write in all caps, are we going to see Matt die? Because he does get overturned in whitewater rapids, which can kill somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very short also.
I have that on my notes. I said, at least this was fast and on a forklift.
This feels like something that they filmed. Maybe they had it in mind for another episode, or maybe they're like, we'll find like the right episode to plug it in for once the episodes are written. Maybe, maybe they were doing it like on location and that was something that they had access to. And then it just got to the end of the season and they were like, well, we got this footage. We should just put it here. It's fine.
Yeah. Shortest postcard ever. No lesson whatsoever, let alone connection to the rest of the episode.
I'm also, like, maybe inproportionately annoyed, but, like, he's dry when he comes up on the shore. We've seen them do wet puppets. We know they have the technology.
Oh, yeah. Also, isn't he wearing a very tiny, like, full-body bathing suit or something?
Weird little leotard kind of vibe.
Where does Matt get these outfits?
Great
Etsy.
question.
Because he's sometimes just dressed appropriately. Or has a pig disguise.
We know he
know.
knows how to get into a shopping mall. Maybe he's found the American Girl dolls store.
He did get dressed up by some kids in that previous episode.
Yeah, there you
with
go.
Their doll clothes. So maybe he's just taking some dolls' clothes with him when he's breaking into families' houses. You never know.
Yep.
This is when we go back to Philo is like really upset, and this is where we see him. I wrote, bites a weird purple bug sheep with spectacles butt/tail. What? Question mark, question mark, question mark. You know.
Yeah. Philo is just walking around he's on his way to go confront Gunge and says, I'll show him, and just bites the nearest little guy he can find, which is this snail.
And what we're going to see is he's then going to bite Gunge's tail when Gunge is happy to see him.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know why they needed to see, like, oh, we need to... He's going to bite Gunge. We have to explain this. We'll have him bite somebody else. And I'm like, I don't know if that actually helps at all. I think it confuses the situation more.
I read it as, like, you know when you're mad about something and, like, taking it out on everybody else?
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, that's probably it. I guess they don't really have, like, little arms as, like, they do, but, you know, he can't really, like, shove someone out of the way, so he's got to, like, bite him, I guess.
Yeah.
It was just very strange.
These guys are, like, at least 50% mouth.
Yes, that is true. This part, there's a lot of really great puppetry in this part. This is when we see, like, I mean, Gunge is very bored, and all around him, like, there's Doozers riding a bike on a tightrope.
Stacked 3 Doozers high.
Mm-hmm. There's also one rolling around on a ball. Someone, like, one of them is doing, like, tricks on a ladder where they're, like, kind of almost doing, like, a cake stand on top of a ladder. There's so much cool puppetry animatronics happening in this whole sequence.
Yeah.
It's so clear that the puppeteers are just showing off. They're like, we know how to do all of this. We're just going to have a lot of fun.
I love that. Just an excuse for a Doozer carnival
Mm-hmm.
and showing off the incredible puppetry they can do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And Gunge is so bored.
Yeah.
He's really bored.
So Philo shows up and is like, I'm going to mess with this. He can't be the king. Show me. So the architect goes and shows him this drawing on the wall, and Philo distracts him, and while he's distracted, adds a second little tooth, because Philo has 2 teeth and Gunge has 1.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've ever noticed that either of them have teeth. They are very small.
Yeah. But yeah, it's never been relevant until now.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a great bit where he's like, 2 teeth, see? Take a close look here. And he opens his mouth to the architect, and the architect just sort of goes, oh, yeah, I do see. I see what you're talking about.
Then we cut back to Marjorie and Gunge, because Gunge has been ousted as king, and he's really, even though we saw that he was bored and not happy, you know, he's still, like, upset by this.
Yeah.
I guess, no, he's upset by this because he realizes they only liked him for being king.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a brilliant line, actually. He says, the Doozers loved me because I was the king, not because I was me.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
But then he follows it up with, the only one who ever loved me for me was Philo. And it's like, Marjorie is right there.
Yeah.
Yup.
Marjorie is wise. I think she understands where he's coming from in the moment. And, you know, she's the one that tells him, hey, Philo missed you too just as much while you were king.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, sometimes it's so clear that that's the case, but sometimes you just need someone else to remind you, like, hey, you got to get out of your head. This person also feels the same way. Because sometimes we just get so stuck in our own heads that's hard to remember that other people have thoughts and feelings as well, and maybe are in the exact same situation as us.
Yeah.
He actually takes it one step further, which I thought was surprisingly mature for a weird little puppet rat, where he's like, oh, he felt like this because I made him feel like this. Oh, I need to apologize.
Yeah. And then we cut back to the Doozers, and Philo is king, and Philo is now also equally as bored.
So bored.
And there's a Doozer doing, like, aerial arts up in the air, just spinning around. It's so cool, and Philo could not care less.
Mm-hmm. And Connor Penn is finally, she's like, oh, Glorious won the second. What do you think of our show? Philo says, what show? And she goes, sheesh. Kings. And like, okay, yeah, she's realizing what her ancestors probably also realized, that kings only consume endlessly and will never be satisfied.
Yeah. Monarchy is not great.
Monarchy is not great.
Not a good idea.
No.
So Gunge comes back, and we get our third song of the episode. Did not expect to get 3 songs in one episode, but this is a really sweet one.
the last episode we only got one song, so it felt like a plethora of them. And yeah, this one's about friendship.
Yeah.
Also, there's just a great little puppetry detail. When Gunge starts singing, Philo just kind of rests his arm on the wall in front of them, so he can just like rest there and listen.
Aw.
It's just this tiny little thing, and it makes me so happy.
Yeah. Basically, the message of the song is, I would rather be your friend than anything at all. Like, okay. It may not have been explicitly queer representation, but it's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also have this great little bit after the song where one of them's like, you know what? You're the greatest. And then it goes, no, you're the greatest. No, you're the greatest. No, you're the greatest. And they have this whole little bit about it. And then finally at the end, Philo's like, you're the greatest. And Gunge goes, yeah, you're right. And then just runs away.
Yeah. It's very good.
Which also, Philo just has the Doozer crown now?
Yeah, he took it. Classic rat behavior.
I wonder if this is like an ancient artifact for the Doozers or if they just made him a new one.
Doesn't matter. It's his now.
They probably just took it. I mean, it's also revealed that the way they got out of both of them being kings is they added a third tooth to the portrait on the wall of the ancient Doozer king.
Yep. And Marjorie loves her Magegi vine necklace and bracelets.
Makes her really happy.
And of course the boys start arguing over whose great idea it was.
And I love that Marjorie just has a little moment of like, ah, yes, they're arguing about this again. All is right with the world. She doesn't even say anything. She just sort of looks at it and goes, ah. And then we finish up with Doc and Sprocket.
Oh yes, Doc brings home a week's worth of Rover's Royal Repast, and it's a single can. And Doc gives him a single spoonful and learns that being a king isn't all it's cracked up to be, which, like, okay, I feel like that's half the lesson we learned here, but not the whole thing.
Yeah, that was a bit of a stretch.
But then Doc does bring out either, it looks like a box of treats, but maybe it's a box of kibble, where he's then able to supplement, the one scoop of very fancy food, and then also some cheaper, probably just store brand food as well.
Yeah.
And then Sprocket is very happy. So I guess Sprocket does learn his lesson, like, fancy means you have, if you really want that and you don't have the budget, it's, things are going to be a lot more expensive and there's going to be less of it. But then, like, you make do, I guess. I wasn't really sure on the final beat if the message really came through for me.
Yeah, me either. But, like, for me, the final beat was, hey, Doc was proactively thinking about trying to take care of his dog. And, like, character growth. We take that.
That's true. Yeah, he wanted to make Sprocket's dream a reality, but also make sure that his friend is taken care of and fed. So, good job, Doc.
Yeah.
Should we talk about how to make the world a little fragglier?
There weren't a lot of Fraggles in this episode.
No, we only saw Red and Wembley up top for probably maybe 3 minutes tops.
If you're bad at giving directions and someone asks you for directions, just say clearly and succinctly, I am bad at giving directions.
You don't need a monarchy to occasionally cut loose and have a little bit of a party.
There you go. Yes, parties, no kings.
Yes.
If you miss your friend, just tell your friend you miss them. You don't have to bite wildlife about it.
Agreed.
All right, that is going to be it for this one. You can find me on social media at Beth Anna Cook, or occasionally writing stuff for Tough Pigs.
You can find me at Geek Girl Grown Up, also occasionally writing for Tough Pigs, and JuliaGaskell.com for poetry.
You can find me defacing an ancient cave drawing so that I can get out of having any kind of responsibility and go hang out with my friends.
All right, remember to check out toughpigs.com, give us a good review on your podcatcher of choice, and we will see you next time.
Don't forget your dance your cares away.
Down at Fraggle Talk.
Wow.
Fraggle Talk Classic is brought to you by toughpigs.com. Fraggle Talk art by Dave Hulteen Jr. The Fraggle Rock mark and logo, characters, and elements are trademarks of the Jim Henson Company. All rights reserved. Fraggle Rock theme song, written by Philip Balsam and Dennis Lee, is used with permission. Special thanks to the Jim Henson Company and the entire Fraggle Rock family. For more from Tough Pigs, follow us on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Facebook, and make sure to check out our Discord server, TeePublic merch store, and Patreon. Fraggle Talk Classic is produced and edited by me, Beth Cook. Thank you to Joe Hennis, the Tough Pigs Muppet Fan Podcast executive producer. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time, down at Fraggle Talk.
Monarchy is not great.
Monarchy is not great.
Not a good idea.
No.
If we have any listeners who are monarchists and this makes them mad, I'm okay with that. You're wrong.
So, Gunge comes back.
The face Julia just made.
I was yawning.
Oh,
I was
okay.
I was trying to shake my head to be just like weirdly agreeing, being like, oh, monarchy, but then I started yawning. I couldn't give a shit about the monarchy. I don't get people being obsessed with the royal family. Weddings are nice. I guess that's the most I could. Anyway,